a paradox about talking or saying anything, or let's say volunteering words. And the paradox is that normally when somebody opens their mouth, really in the scheme, in the day-to-day of the world, they have something to say. And the paradox is that really there isn't anything to say. But then the core of this really is a sort of a sharing then, maybe. And the purpose isn't then to say there's nothing to say. In fact, this is wonderfully purposeless and just immediately what's appearing to happen. So, and that's sort of extraordinary in the day-to-day of the world, that there's a meeting now that has no purpose, no agenda to fulfill. In a sense, it means, well, there's no pressure for anything to be put across, nor for anything to be asked, nor for anything at all. And there's nothing kind of obtuse or clever about those words. That's not trying to be awkward in the language, saying that there's nothing to say, because really there is nothing to say, but it's appearing to happen, and words are appearing to be spoken, and the communication really that's sort of been unveiled or at the core of what is being described maybe here is the suggestion that life is just happening, that this meeting is just what's happening, and that in and as everything is just what is. So thoughts, feelings, sensations. Earlier this morning, walking on the crisp, frosty grass, and the nice crunch of that grass was what was happening, let's just say. And what's happening here is the immediate sound of a voice, and that life, a kind of an outpouring or a description that life is the mystery, that this is the mystery, not what's being said, just this isness that is not owned by anyone, that's not Frank's or anyone else's. It's this immediate gathering, sort of an innocent sharing, really. And one of the suggestions being made here is that that there is no self, and on the face of it, it's sort of a simple suggestion, but it also can be a quite striking suggestion. And again, normally when suggestions are made, or it would appear that there should be some knowing behind that. But it's a suggestion appearing to be made that there is no self. And let's leave that one. Let's just leave that floating. Well, only to say that no one can then realize that there is no self. And then any idea of a self that can fall away and for that to be realized would also be a sort of a misnomer. So we're talking about total unknowing, complete unknowing, where, well, let's say every tiny little inch is unknowable, but also saying it's unknowable is also that. So it's not about words, right? It's not about knowledge. And then this is just appearing to happen, a gathering, a meeting, or whatever appearing to happen. But in this sort of mystery, it would seem like there can be a sense of this mystery can be known, or it can be found out, or something can be revealed for all of this to make sense for me. And that can be a felt movement, that can be a felt feeling appearing to happen, that I can know the world, I can know this, I can find an answer, and all of this suddenly will make sense, and this will be revealed, and suddenly I will have it and get it, and I'll host a meeting where I can be all wise and knowing, and I can explain this and make sense of it, and I can share that. So, and whatever seeking movement is happening, whatever sort of felt feeling about what this could be, what it is, where it can go, and what I can get from it, then that's also this outrageous fucking mystery. So unfortunately, there's no answers here. There's responses, it seems, to questions. And it's also these sorts of gatherings are a sort of an opportunity for that, really, an opportunity for questions and responses. And that's a sort of a description, a fucking meandering sort of description, to sort of ground this in a sense that it's not about football necessarily. but it's also a story. And what we're really talking about is just talking, and this, like, so let's see what happens. Let's see if there's questions to be asked, and if they're there to be asked, then just type them or click on mute and go for it. You can't do it wrong, or you cannot do it right. You're simply not doing it. And with that, let's see what happens.
Hello, Frank.
Ah, yeah.
How are you today?
Great. Thank you. And you?
Yeah, I feel nice today.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Yes. It's just not really a question, but there's not much reaction to thought that is aware it's ongoing, coming and going, and there's not much reaction to it. So it's I'm not saying it's a progress, but it just
Oh.
it is
Things don't go anywhere. A doesn't lead to B. It's just what's appearing to happen. So whatever is felt and described, then that would be what's happening.
yeah.
And saying that would be what's happening is not a way to live. It's not a mantra for living. It's just a sort of a reflection back that, okay, well, that's what's happening.
It's not an idea.
What's not an idea?
What's happening is not an idea.
It's not an idea, but saying it's not an idea is what's happening. It's that.
Yeah.
You're not even saying that, like, it's not, there's no part of this that is orchestrated by a you. There just isn't a you in there orchestrating anything. Anything at all, though, even the sense of it's whatever.
Yeah. But there is a knowing of a difference.
And I suppose then that's an idea being held of knowing of a difference.
Okay.
There isn't a difference, but there may be a held image or idea or knowing that there is a difference. And if that's what it is, then that's what it is. But
Yes.
there isn't a difference.
No, no difference.
No.
It's just a thought when it arises, it feels like a needle stabbing. And then
It
and
feels
when
like a needle stabbing. She said.
yeah, I'm just trying to make it like a analogy, like a needle stabbing. The pain arises as the needle stab, and then afterwards it just gone. That's how thought comes and go, and sometimes it could feel irritated, just like a needle stabbing. But it's not as severe as that level of pain today.
Okay. You see, in a sense, so it's just what's happening. That's all really, you know. I mean, in the world of upper and lower and better and worse and progress, then everything is leading somewhere, and some things are ranked to be better and other things are worse. But it's without that, there's just fully, inescapably, incomparably what's happening. So it
Yeah,
is
yeah,
as every thought, every feeling, every kind of, oh, feeling relaxed, feeling lovely, feeling uptight, feeling tense,
yeah,
feeling anxious, feeling whatever.
yeah. Yes, absolutely. And it's kind of increasingly sensitive to comparing. Like for some reason is trying to stop comparing.
Thoughts are what? Trying to stop comparing.
Like comparing as a, a, a way that is being criticized heavily.
Mm,
Um Comparing was good, was bad, was the apparent happening. Um,
yeah.
and it kind of gets the idea, trying to stop comparing.
Mm. There's another idea.
Yes, it is, but for
Yeah.
some reason it is going into the other sort of direction. That what you would be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just then what's happening really then, you know, that's it. It's just
yeah,
compare, it's just comparing. It's the nature, you could say, of thought, is to compare, contrast, and
yeah,
better and worse, up and down, this and that. Oh, I should stop comparing. Oh yeah, right. Good luck with the not comparing thing then. See,
yeah.
you know, oh, I shouldn't compare. Right. Okay. He got a bigger piece of the apple tart than me. All right, you're not allowed to feel that. You're happy, be happy with your small. It's all ideas, that's all.
Yeah, yeah. Notice it's just ideas, but it kind of just naturally goes into trying to use or practice what is heard. It's kind of
Yeah.
like a habit, like it's unstoppable, and
It's
it's
all
it,
it's essentially always trying to make something out of nothing. And even nothing is will try and make something out of.
yeah,
Imagine it's nothing. I want to have nothing then.
that's fully heard. That's
Mm.
fully heard, and it's been noticed. That's what it's doing, trying to make it out, make it to a point, and there's no way of stopping that.
But it's
And
just what's happening though. That's it.
yes,
And the saying there's no way of stopping that is also what's happening. It's this flooding the senses immediately, inescapably, as that. There's nothing right or wrong with that. It's not going anywhere. It's just what's happening.
yeah, um,
It's perfect.
it's normal. It's just normal. Whatever its notices.
Well, it's neither normal or not normal. It's inescapably, fully just what is. Woohoo! Oh, fuck.
But there's no way to know what is.
Well,
There's the ideas of what.
so then, so knowing what
what
is like trying to bind this then again in a few sentences, so that this then, I know what it is, right? Well, that's hell then, but you know, it's like this, if this could be bound in a few words or books or knowing, we're back in a constricted life, you know, straitjacket of what this is then, knowing what is, but it's just a movement, as if then this will then be safe because I know it. It's totally unsafe, but you can't do anything about the attempt to want to know this. It's an arising attempt to want to know this. That's what is. It's not wrong or right. It's not good or bad. It's just what is. Wanting to know. So what? So sort of then this, perhaps you could say these sorts of things, then nothing you can do about that. It's just simply what is.
Yeah. That's perfect.
Yeah. Well, it's what is. Even sometimes you could say saying it's perfect is sort of, but it's not fucking perfect. You know, so that would be what is then. It's not perfect. But it is what is. And in a sense, saying it's perfect is just a sort of a word to describe the very fullness of that, the inescapable fullness of that. It's like looking at a picture and saying the picture is perfect, but as it is. But perfect, somebody else might go, well, it's the biggest piece of shit picture I've ever seen. But it is fully the picture, though. It is as the picture. So whether it's perfect or not, it's sort of complete as it is. But that doesn't make it good, you know, or bad. It's just what it is. Free then to be how it is.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's my cousin's picture, Eleanor. She's a good artist. It's a question. Can you say something about there is no better? It feels better when the heart is open instead of closed. Well, if that's what's appearing to happen, that it feels better when the heart is opened instead of closed, then that's what's appearing to happen then. It feels better. Isn't that lovely? There's a question here. Does the seeing of this make the ability of memorizing poor? In a sense, really, there isn't a seeing of this. And you can't do memory or not do remembering. But so I don't know. I mean, I could say my memory is absolutely shit these days, but let's say it's getting old. I don't know. I can't remember much. Even going to the grocery shop, sort of, I'm given a list of 5 things, and I'd be lucky if I come back with a whole lot of them. I think that could be just being male. And it also have to be at this and the seeing. Like we're talking wild unknowingness here, in a sense that even the word unknowingness is unknowable. Like it's totally empty and wild and ordinary, and also just hearing the sound of a voice. I usually ask for a text with the grocery list. I can sense the emptiness. I suppose in a sense, really, there is only emptiness. Full to the brim with the hearing of there is only emptiness. As that. Just to read this out, there's just what's happening, and this question is happening. Using logic, you can see that there is no God, no Santa. Can logic be used to see that there isn't really a me? So there isn't really a me. That's totally illogical for that which loves a bit of logic. That it can be worked out and made sense of, that this then can be held together by a few sentences and bound and understood. And so then knowing that there is no me, there's a sort of a stale, dry sense in the mouth, almost licking the world through a pane glass window, or it's just knowing. It's just more having, and it sort of can reach the point with knowing that it's heavy and unsatisfying. It is easing with no me. I probably would don't really know what you're saying there, but there's just what it is, unownable, unhavable. It's not a state fixed and caught like a fish that you have. As soon as you catch a fish, normally it'll be dead soon. So it's sort of like that. Knowing is kind of like that, really. Or getting this, I have it. It's like a dead fish. Knowing that there is no God isn't unsatisfying. It just means that you don't believe in the stories. It's fine. It's okay, yeah, whatever. Sorry, that was just a message in. See, no me to stop seeking. No me to start seeking. No me. It's not a place to get to. There's no me. It's so horribly free. Normally everything else is endeavor. I need to work to it to get to it. Everything else is progress. A to B. Did I do good, mommy? Can I get the packet of biscuits? Can I get a sweet? Everything. It's so horribly free as whatever is that who'd want it. You can't have your attempt to want to have. And you can't get closer or further away to seeking, but it could be and is inescapably what's appearing to happen. It's another message here. It seems to be a me that wants to see that there isn't one. Well, there's just that movement or imagination that when the me falls away, then all will be well. But I think there's just a held then sense that when this me collapses, all will be revealed. And I know what he's saying about there is no me already. I get that. But all the same, I want to know there's no me. So then there's this holistically of movement, of wanting, a sourceless movement of wanting to see that there is no me. That's what is then. That's not bad or good. It's just what is. See, you can't do that or not do that. It's just what's happening. Well, I wish it would stop happening, and that's what's happening. Yeah, that is what's happening. The wanting for it to stop happening. How do you do that? I don't know how to do that. That's just what's happening then. It's total poverty. You don't get to have total poverty either. You can't do it because it's already done. Well, it's just what is being described and felt, and inescapably what is. You could say it's being done, but it's sort of then it's always imagined that it's somehow being done by someone. So then it's just what is. So the utter awkwardness of this, let's just say, is that every singular, tiny, minuscule inch is happening in total free fall. So feeling constricted or the sense of seeking or whatever has been described, that's not being done by a you. So it's just what's happening. It's totally what it appears to be. Everything though, every but, every thought, every movement of the head, everything. Every hands on the face. Everything. There's nothing to seek for then. And nothing isn't a thing to seek for. But seeking can appear to happen. So but what's the point of seeking if it can't find anything? It's seeking appearing to happen. It is absolutely, utterly, wonderfully, horribly pointless. Is there a point to the frost on the grass or the leaves falling or the sound of a voice or seeking? It's just always, it's imagined that there is something that can be found, because everywhere else that's reinforced. Absolutely everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. It's reinforced that something can be found and I've got it. And so that's the sort of paradox with these meetings. It's a bit of a fuck, because it gives the impression, when, like I said at the very start, when this voice box, when I start talking, it seems like something is known, and even saying that must be known, but it's not that, and it's just what's appearing to happen. All of this is just what is. So call it potato cakes, empty fullness, horribleness, total crazy fucked upness, or emptiness, or whatever, and that's what you appear to be calling it. That's what's happening. So it is as everything, and every word appears like normally it can be describing something, but this is as describing, as hearing. So it's sort of richly full as that, as opposed to describing something. So it's wonderfully purposeless, but that's not a purpose either. So you can't hang your hat on it being, oh, it's purposeless, but you can if you want to.
Hi, Frank.
Hiya.
So the thought that just came up, it's like if there was such a thing as death, that is death appearing as life, or it's just a rambling thought, but it sort of feels, emptyfulness or death appearing as life, but there's nothing in death. It's like,
Well, call this death, call it life, call it whatever the fuck you want. Doesn't make it a thing apart. That it is. So fucking, whatever. Call
yeah.
it whatever. Call it hell, heaven, empty fullness, carrot
It doesn't
cake.
matter. Yeah, because it's so immediate. It's just words.
Well, it's just what's being said then. It's wild and free and whatever. Like, could get the guitar out there and you could start singing, and that would be this, and you could sit in silence, and that would be this. It's agendaless. And that's not an agenda either. It sounds like being tolerant, comment there. It's neither tolerant or intolerant. And it's just what is. There's no being anything, or this idea of being all accepting. So when somebody pulls out in front of you in the traffic, it's not suddenly saying, oh, this is just empty fullness. Oh, this is all love. It's fucking you dickhead, or whatever. You know, maybe could be, oh, you poor thing, you got that wrong. Sorry, it was my fault. Being tolerant is just another idea then. If I'm really tolerant, oh Lord, would that make me good? It's all good boy and bad boy girl thingy again. Did I do good? Progress and all that. Did I do good, Mammy? I can't stop it getting ideas just reactively. You can't stop it or start it. It's just what's appearing to happen.
Hey, Frank.
Hiya.
So it seems that this message keeps coming up with the words, all there is what's apparently happening.
Yeah.
So that sounds like there is an assumption that this needs to be, well, it doesn't need to be communicated, but this comes up in this type of communication. So the people listening to the message, for them, that's not clear, so to say. It's like, hey, can't you see it's obvious that all there is what's apparently happening, says the message. But to us, it's like...
So you're describing for yourself now, yeah? Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah, yeah.
But for ourselves, the ones listening to the message...
Well, yeah, well, I mean, just talk to yourself, because we have no idea what's happening. You know what I mean? Let's see what you're saying then. So if, you know, just what are you saying?
Well, I'm trying to figure it out as well.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But there's an assumption that the people listening to the message don't see that. Yeah, that it sounds like a extremely simple message. All there is what's apparently happening. So it's just what's appearing to happen. A reaction to that could be, okay, so what?
Yeah, abso-fucking-lutely.
Okay.
So fucking what?
Yeah.
Big fucking deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But somehow it feels like there is a big deal for those that...
For who?
Sorry,
if you can just describe, like,
yes.
you know,
for those for whom the
to,
sense of separation is there.
So are you talking about yourself? Like, sorry, because if you're going to, it's just,
yeah.
Are you the voice box for everyone, or are you just going to describe what's happening?
Okay, I get your point.
So you know what I mean? It's easier then.
I get your point.
There'll be a response to that then.
I get your point. Yeah, makes more sense.
Okay.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, I see that. Okay, so I listen to the message, right? And I have the feeling that I'm listening to the message for a purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what the message is saying is something that seems like it's not saying anything. All there is what's apparently happening. You know.
Okay.
Okay.
So
then.
So you're not listening to the message.
How do you mean?
You are not listening to the message.
Oh. Right.
But appearing to listen to this is what's happening.
That's what's happening.
Yeah. And it's unavoidable. And so, of course, it would seem like in the normal run of things that there should be a sort of a purpose then. I'm listening to this and hopefully we'll get something out of it. But all he's saying is there's just what's happening, and that's fucking annoying. I want something more. And you see, this is so fucking horribly, wonderfully energetic, right? It's sort of like, and I say energetic in the sense of, if this was like anything else, normally it would be, well, I get it. I get there's just what's happening. I'm going to go off now and I'm going to do hot yoga. I'm going to go off and meditate. I'm going to go off and do something. But for whatever reason, and that's inexplicable, you could say, that sort of, it can't be let go of. Now, it can be. For 99.9% of people, it can be totally let go of. But it seems like there's something then that, so really, you don't keep coming back to these and you're not listening to them. It's just what's happening. And there is a sort of a dryness, a sort of a, also the hearing, where he keeps saying there's just what's happening. I fucking want more. I want something. But then also that I wanting something is fully what's happening. You can't do that or not do it. So like this is pouring through the senses as whatever is, as the wanting, as the hoping that there's something in it, as the sort of grappling with it. It's just, you can't do this or not do it. It's just what is. So you've never listened to a message and you've never done a thing.
But I understand what's happening as I have listened to the message. I understand what's happening as something that I understand through a story.
Yeah, through a story that I stumbled upon this sort of message and I'm listening to it and I'm now coming back to it again. But there isn't anything being communicated here.
Yeah.
And saying there's just what's happening isn't a sort of a way to make all of this. It's not a way to live a life by, or to be that this is suddenly explainable as, well, there's just what's appearing to happen and I'm okay. Okay. So that is also, it's not a mantra to live a life by. No. It's just it seems like in this sort of gatherings we go down the rabbit hole, but then there's a constant return to the inescapable immediacy of just hearing a voice and the unknowability of that.
And it feels like when you talk to somebody, when apparently talking happens, there is something there going on in that, behind that apparent skin. There's an apparent thing that is. That's more than just what's apparently happening with that.
You see, it seems like if there's somebody in here operating the infrastructure and doing the thinking and doing the talking and doing the seeking, then there is definitely somebody who is over there who is talking. And that he must have something or he wouldn't be talking. And so then this sort of, maybe what comes out of this mouth sort of hears the imaginations and then responds in whatever way the response is.
Yeah.
But it's not trying to explain or put anything across, or in fact, all the knowings are elsewhere.
All the knowings are elsewhere.
Yeah, this is sort of, you're talking to a sort of empty vessel.
Yeah, that's sort of how I meant it. Yeah, it's all how it's appearing, and there is nothing behind that. But
yeah, but
there's something behind everything, something behind what's appearing to happen.
There's something behind it, yeah.
Me. Yeah,
for me, yeah. And so it's just a sort of an imagination to make it this. Then, well, there's something behind all this. Then.
You know, I watched one of your YouTube videos where you film from the first person perspective and with the thoughts in.
Oh, yeah.
So that seems what would be appearing to happen. That seems to be what would be appearing to happen for every apparent body.
sort of this wildness, yeah. Totally unabridged wildness. Like life is sort of unabridged, empty wildness.
Unconnected.
Yeah, but then sort of this boundless stories. Like it's boundless stories, to the point of even saying it's boundless stories is another story. And it's like in a mass of unbelievable stories. And then it's sort of like, well, I'm just going to stay silent then. And then that's just another objectification. You can't be silent or not be silent. It's total sourceless freefall.
So yeah, like a reaction to it's all unknowable. So this is what I'm gonna do with the fact that it's unknowable. I'm just gonna not know it. But that's
And the wonderful thing is, and the horrible thing is that the not saying it's unknowable is also unknowable. So what do you do with that?
It just appeared.
What do you do with that? Yeah, it's useless. Like every word is useless. Like so, it's just a chewing the cud, talking, appearing to happen. Let's just say that doesn't make this then safe. This is edgy, whatever. Yeah. Thank you. If it was about knowingness, it's a commentary. It is not about knowingness. Yeah, I think knowing is the currency of the world, and in the currency of the world, there's all about being the richest in terms of knowing. And I think it seems like you can just reach a point where all that knowing goes around and around and around and becomes this heavy, tight, bound and way of apparently being, that I know what the world is, I know what life is, I know what hands are and head and bald, and I know. And at a certain point it seems like all that knowing is more like eaten bile, and but it's not about knowing, and it's not about getting to a place then of unknowing. Oh, I'll get to unknowing then. So we're just talking about sitting on a chair, hearing the sound of a bald fucking paddy, and whatever thoughts and feelings and whatever else is happening is this. I tried to unknow the appearance of things some time ago, and it was horrible. Unknowing. I tried to unknow the appearance of things some time ago, and it was horrible. Unknowing. Unknowing isn't a place to arrive to. There isn't unknowing. So there isn't knowing or unknowing. There's just fully what is. Is wanting to know about wanting to be safe. I don't get that. I have to repeat that. Is wanting to know about wanting to be safe. I think in a sense, really, this is sort of like boundlessly in the dark and constantly wanting to find an anchor, put the anchor down at sea and know this. Do we want in order to feel safe? You could say that the movement of knowing is that, but you're not doing that either. It's just the currency of everything is knowing. Mommy and daddy know, and then moves on to school and teachers and bosses and priests and gods and kings, and then whatever else is imagined to know. And this is boundlessly unknowable. So with that in mind, thank you for the unplanned meeting, and have a lovely rest of whatever day. All right, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Frank.